Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I can't hear you, Sam.
We live? Can I hear Anna? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you, Anna?
I'm good. I'm excited to be doing the Winter Arts Showcase with you this year after we did the Winter Arts Festival last year. Feels like a nice
Wow,
progression.
that's such a formal greeting for actually it feels very right. Wonderful. It's all working so good. Excited to do this with you as well. Yes. Wonderful. I've just noticed they've got the Bloomsbury Theatre in the background. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and our names. Right, I guess that's a nice introduction for us. Hello and welcome to the 2020. Oof, that's it. That's hard to say. Winter Arts Showcase,
Woo.
brought to you by your arts officers this year. Myself, Sam.
And I'm Anna. It's really nice to have you all here to celebrate the arts this term because it's been a pretty crazy term for the arts, but so much amazing work has still been produced, and we're excited to share some of it with you this afternoon.
So, as Anna briefly mentioned, normally this time of year we would be having a lovely Winter Arts Festival in the quad, surrounded by all the lovely Christmas lights and the decorations, which, if you are in London, you should definitely check out and see. But the elephant in the room has stopped us from doing that. So here we are, and we bring you the Winter Art Showcase. We're going to have a lot of exciting content for you over the next hour or so. We're going to be celebrating the amazing work that our art societies have managed to achieve in what has been a really tricky first term. And so we're going to be showing that off today. We're also going to be having some exciting pre-recorded and live interviews with some incredible arts alumni who we're all
Yeah,
very
so
excited.
we're really excited to be introducing some of our wonderful art societies to you today. A lot of them have put in some time to make some wonderful Christmassy content for you that we hope you all enjoy. And first up today, we have our wonderful Jazz Society. Sam, did you want to speak a bit about jazz?
Jazz Society. I mean, I've missed Jazz Night, and if you've missed Jazz Night as well, then this is a wonderful time for you to get back in there. Um, for those of you who haven't had the experience of Jazz Night or experienced Jazz Society, they are an absolutely wonderful musical society, but also interest society as well. Uh, Quite honestly, you don't have to be able to play an instrument at all. Just love jazz to get in there. There are lots of opportunities to get involved with jazz. So whilst they've had lots of online stuff in the this term, hopefully when things fingers crossed things get a little bit safer, there'll be lots of opportunities to get involved with them too. They've got things like non-audition choir and non-audition big band. They run some amazing workshops. I've been to a couple myself and just incredible, as well as some wonderful socials, some of the best fun I've ever had at uni, and small bands. So lots of things to take part in and something for everyone. And I'm very excited to see what they've got in store for us.
So hopefully we will now see a wonderful video from Jazz.
I love the looks of you, the lure of you, the sweet of you, the pure of you, the eyes, the arms, the mouth of you, the east, west, north, and the south of you. I'd love to gain complete control of you and to live in the heart and soul of you. So love at least a small percent of me too. For I love all of you. I love the looks of you, the lure of you, the sweet of you, the pure of you, the eyes, the arms, and the mouth of you, the east, west, north, and the south of you. I'd love to gain complete control of you and have to live in the heart and soul of you. So love at least a small percent of me do, for I love all of you.
Oh, our wonderful jazz sock. It just makes me miss jazz night, and it's wonderful
Me
at
too.
one point, but it's also really sad. That was a lovely video from Jazz. We are going to be hearing from them a little bit later with a similar video. So if you haven't had enough of your jazz fix today, don't leave us yet. So Jazz have been pretty busy this term. Been doing some amazing things despite not being able to perform live and in person with people, especially given the woodwind and brass instruments that make jazz what it is, and the government's dislike of how they can spread COVID. But they've been getting on with themselves. Every week they've been doing Jazz's Track of the Week, where members have been able to record their own parts and been able to send it, and they've been making these videos and posting them on their social media, which has really brightened my term. So thank you, Jazz. And they've also been doing some live streamed performances, bringing Jazz Night to you when possible. So well done, Jazz, for all of the stuff that you've managed to do, and for keeping your community together and happy, and just spreading some joy in what has been a difficult term.
Yeah, and it's probably also worth mentioning that you can follow Jazz on Instagram at UCL Jazz Society, and they post Friday favorites and tracks and performances on there as well, so you can catch up on anything from this term that you might have missed. As Sam said, they've done some really innovative editing and videos that are stunning and of very high quality, so I would recommend that you watch them as well. We've posted a couple on our Instagram as well, so make sure you check those out after the live stream.
Yeah, Anna and I know firsthand that editing those kinds of videos where everyone sends things in, it looks simple, but it really, really isn't. So props to Jazz for their top quality editing. And also, if you're not a huge jazz fan and you're looking to get into a little bit of more and to widen your horizons, check out UCL Jazz Sock on Spotify, because they've got some amazing playlists which they've curated from various styles. Also including, if you're particularly interested in a kind of certain instrument, voice, drums, bass, brass, woodwind, and also playlists that highlight the work of artists of color as well, which is really wonderful. And yeah, actually, that reminds me, Anna, speaking of some things that brighten our term, we've got some prizes to give out today, have we not?
We do indeed. So yeah, Sam, did you want to introduce the competition today? Because I feel like you are super excited about it.
Yeah, you've got me there, a little bit excited about this. So we thought it would be nice, given that it's especially cold day in London. For those of you who are in here, I'm sure you sympathise. We've got some merchandise to give away. Those of you who have been lucky to be on campus and have seen things in emails may have noticed that the union have got some new winter merchandise, some snazzy hats, scarves, and jumpers, which all look really warm and really nice. So if you're looking to expand your winter boutique. Don't go anywhere. Us trying to find a way of getting spirits raised a little bit, we thought that in the comments we'd love to hear from you guys about what have been your favourite arts moments from this term. Now, we know that this term has been very difficult. I'm sure that's not the last time I'm going to say this. But we really wanted to, with this event, when we can't be together in person, we really wanted to show and celebrate the work that art societies have managed to do in difficult circumstances when actually we can't be together. And with a lot of arts, that is what our societies are geared around. And especially in times where individually we all have our things to deal with and we're all very busy, and think our circumstances may not be the ones that we wanted them to be. We just wanted to really celebrate the people who have taken the time out not to throw in the towel and just say, we'll leave things for when we can do it a bit more safely, but have really taken the time to learn new skills and make sure that their communities stay together. So we would really like to hear from you guys in the comments. What are your favourite arts moments of this term? Sorry, just getting little things from Diego. Massive props, speaking of Diego and FilmSoc, who have been absolutely incredible this entire term and are going to continue to be incredible throughout the year, learning to do new softwares and learning new live streaming techniques to make sure that things can actually happen. So big props to Diego and big props to FilmSoc. But yeah, let us know your favourite arts moments of this term for a chance to win some snazzy winter merch, because we all love free merch. And now
we do.
Here's some stuff about MD's Comedy Review, aren't we, Anna?
We are. So MD's Comedy Review is the oldest student review in the country. They consist of a friendly group of medical students who perform a variety of original comedic sketches and songs. They're composed of a cast, band and technical crew, all of which are essential to their shows.
Hi there.
Hi.
Howdy.
We are the GPs of the NHS.
We work tirelessly to make sure that every single one of you is happy and healthy.
And we love every minute of it.
Over the past few years, however, there have been some bad stories going around about the GPs.
Now, we're not blaming you, but we've been hurt by some of them. These stories say we don't work hard enough, that our job is easy, or that we're only in it for the money. Oops.
Now, you have to be very tolerant as a GP, so for the most part we roll up our sleeves and get on with it. We just thought that we'd take the time to remind you that we know things.
That spot in that compromising place.
That infection from the person that wasn't your wife.
Your itchy bum.
Now, I know we're meant to adhere to confidentiality.
But sometimes when people lie about us and we get really, really angry, things can just, oops, slip out.
Oh, I didn't mean to talk to the newspaper about the Prime Minister's condition. But when doing a job as easy as ours, sometimes we can get a little absent-minded.
Just remember that we're here for you, whenever.
But if you keep lying about us,
we will destroy you.
So, goodbye.
And keep reminding yourself, everyone has a GP.
Ta-ra!
Until next time.
So, Jesus, I just want to say I love what you've been getting up to recently, and I'm so happy you picked A-list public relations to represent you.
Well, the person at the meet and greet said that you could help me spread the word of God.
That's all great, but first, let's talk you. The question I want to ask is, what's next?
What do you mean, what's next?
Where's the big fame hit going to come from? You know, I really do admire the whole coming back from the dead thing, but I'm sure you'll agree it's 1 to 100. You've torn up the rulebook, and I like that. But it does beg the question, how can you top something like that?
I don't think you understand. I don't want fame. I really just want to spread the word of God.
I'm just trying to help you. I really am. I'm not taking a 30% cut just to sit around all day. You know what? Let's see if we can work out a compromise. You spread the word of God all you want, but we will take control of your public exposure strategy.
Fine. All right. Well, I'll return to the streets and start preaching, and you can keep me updated. All right?
Stop. Just stop there for 1 second. We're not sure that taking to the streets really maximizes your social exposure potential index. So here's a suggestion. You say all you want, but say it on TikTok.
Sorry, what is this TikTok?
Very simple. It's an app. Record a video, put it online. No longer than 15 seconds, please. And if we could have some dancing, maybe show those gorgeous abs of yours, well, it'll really help your stats amongst young people.
You know what? Fine. If it helps me reach more people. But it does seem a little vain.
Says the guy who named a religion after himself.
What?
Nothing. We'll be in touch.
Fine. Goodbye.
Bloody hell. They think that just because they're famous, they can be absolute pricks. He's worse than Kanye West.
Remember, elves, we've got to show solidarity.
The only thing we've got to lose is our chains. Wait, Santa's coming.
Santa, I think you're muted.
Thank you, buddy. I'm so sorry. Mrs. Claus set it up for me and I don't know my mouse from my keys. Anyway, I got this letter from you all with some demands. I just wondered what you were meaning by wanting parental leave and 1 week's holiday a year and to get paid. I don't understand.
And 3 mince pies a week, Santa.
Interesting. Where has this come from, elves? Why have you picked now to make these demands? I thought we were friends.
Formed a union.
A union?
No more pissing into water bottles in the warehouse. No more drone elves taking our jobs. Santa Corporations is the biggest company in Lapland, and we deserve a share of it.
Now, I really do completely understand where you elves are coming from, but I just...
No buts. We've got your back against the wall, Santa, and we're not taking no for an answer.
Oh. Well, I guess you won't mind if I were to bring Rudolph in then.
Rudolph is here.
Hello, Rudolph.
Hello, Santa. Any trouble here?
Well, I didn't think so, but these gentle elves here, they must have bumped their heads. They're talking about forming a union.
A union, you say? Well, I sure hope they've talked it over with their families. What about you, Harold? You talk to your wife, Sally, or your child? Sweet young Emily? Oh, such a sweet young girl. Be a shame if something would happen to her.
You might be trying to intimidate us, but it's not going to work. Now meet our demands or face strike.
Oh, gosh, a strike. Well, before things get any more heated, I'd like you to meet someone. Let me just add... Tommy, can you hear us? Oh, Tommy. Now, Tommy here has had a very difficult year, haven't you? He became an orphan after all 3 of his dads died from coronavirus. Now, what is it you're really wanting this Christmas, Tommy?
Don't do this, Santa.
Shut your mouth. What do you want, Tommy?
Well, I'd like just one present.
Now, Tommy, I really wish I could do that for you. I'm so sorry. My elves are talking about not making any presents this year. Won't that make the other children in the orphanage sad too?
Please, Santa, not the children.
I'm afraid you leave me no choice.
Fine, fine. We relent.
Well, I'm very glad to hear we've reached an amicable agreement. And as payment for the inconvenience you've caused me, I'll just be suspending your remaining benefits. Merry Christmas.
What? No, we won't survive.
Now listen here, you little fucking shit. I've tolerated your wanky little bullshit for the past few months now, and it's been funny up until now, but I'm tired. If I hear one more fucking demand from you, I'll cut all of your cocks off and shove them in a pot so Mrs. Claus can make a stew. She likes stews. Is that okay with you all? If I hear one more word out of your tiny fucking elf mouths, I'll call you a ho-ho-ho. No, you didn't. Do you get me? I said, do you get me? Now get the fuck out of this call. I haven't seen Mrs. Claus in months because of this virus. And she's got some cinnamon buns to show me, I can tell you. For fuck's sake, Karen. I told you to put some cinnamon in my wine and mull it over, not give me the fucking cinnamon challenge, love. Jesus. Sorry.
Merry Christmas!
Can't hear you, Sam.
It's all right. I didn't mute myself. Again, one of the lovely trivial things that we all got round in 2020. I said Santa must have been very annoying in his Zoom call from MDs there. At least he didn't put them in rooms. So we're going to quickly have a look at some of the comments and look over some people's favourite moments in the arts so far this term. We have got one from Jim Onyamenon, who says that his favourite art moment so far this term has to be the Cheese Graters skit at the Digital Welcome Fair. So Cheese Graters, props to you out there. You made Jim's term. And we've got a Dan Barber who is looking to expand his winter boutique, but hasn't commented anything. So come on, Dan, get on that. You're not going to get your winter boutique otherwise. Speaking of that, what's been your favourite arts moment this term?
I think my favourite arts moment has been seeing how all of the societies have been utilising technology and getting really creative with what they're doing. Because, like we've mentioned, most of the societies rely upon in-person events and are kind of fueled by in-person events. So it's obviously been quite a frustrating and difficult term in that everything has gone online. But I've been really inspired by how well everyone's responded to the challenges and created some amazing work in spite of and because of the pandemic. So I think it is really inspiring to see how people have come together and are still performing and making art. You can't cancel the arts. So yeah, what about you, Sam? What have you loved this term?
Yeah, pretty much similar to you. I went into this term thinking that we were going to be hard pressed to be able to find any opportunities to do things. And some of my favourite moments have been through with live music and jazz and musical theatre and various other societies who have been putting on these, whether it's live stream gigs or online galas and stuff like that, just having the opportunities and how well societies have adapted to make sure that people get opportunities to do things in this time, which has really, really made my term. I think now we go on to our first live interview, so I'm really excited about this, to welcome to the stream Alvaro Barrington, who graduated from the Slade School in 2017 and since then has been rising up and quote unquote charming London's top galleries. So, hello, Alvaro. Lovely to have you with us.
Hi, Alvaro.
Hi, hi everyone. It's good to be here. Thank you for thinking
How
about me and inviting me.
how are you
It's
doing?
lovely to.
Where are you?
I'm in London. It was really beautiful this morning, so I got a chance to sit outside because the clouds was out. But now it's raining, and I was running in from a meeting.
Yeah, it's absolutely miserable in London. Thank you for joining us. I guess kind of what we wanted to talk to you about is your experience at the Slade School and kind of how that's helped. I mean, you go on and do stuff within the arts community.
I think one of the advice that I got, there was a couple different advice that I got before I went to grad school. But one of them was that it was going to give me time and space, which at the time I didn't really quite understand when the artist told me what it told me. But I think what it means is that you get 2, 4, 5, 6 years to just sort of sit and think about the thing that you love, without so much other responsibility. So I got a chance to walk down to the National Gallery to look at paintings with my colleagues for like 4 or 5 hours, and we were just able to talk to each other about why we love something, why we didn't love something. And very few times in life do you get that opportunity to be sort of mature enough, to kind of old enough to create your own um, curriculum. You're a little bit freer, but then also kind of meet a community that will love the things that you love. If you think about pre-university, you're often put in a class with, you're kind of forced to take curriculums that you have no interest in, and here you get a chance to sort of choose your own identity. So it was wonderful.
So we're looking at some of your art. It's, I mean, from someone who doesn't know a lot about art, I absolutely loved it. Your kind of sort of trademark, at least for sort of mixed media on sort of burlap. I was wondering how did you get to that sort of, that's the medium of art you really wanted to do?
That's one of it. I mean, there's one show that I did, but I kind of pull apart the materials of my life, because I think everything ends up becoming kind of having a material value. And burlap was something that, my folks are from the Caribbean. It just ended up making sense as a surface because of its connotation to transporting like cacao beans and stuff like that, but also its relationship to art history with a lot of Italian arti poveras who used, like Alberto Buri, who used the material. So I thought here I was able to kind of mix in two different parts of my identity on. So if you're from the Caribbean, you understand the burlap sacks, and if you're like a huge fan of art like I am, you can understand it through the historical art historical reference point. So it allowed me to sort of address two parts of the things that I love at the same time.
And you speak to your roots, and a lot of your work seems to be kind of based on collaboration or community, or inspired by kind of your experiences. And I was wondering, obviously, this year has been a year where there is not as much togetherness, and I was wondering how it's affected your practice and how it's what's been a challenge and an opportunity that the pandemic has provided you in terms of making work and collaboration. Maybe there's been a way that you've explored that.
The first half, I think I spent it kind of really going through a lot of emotional up like turbulence. So if you asked me at 10 o'clock how I was doing, I was one way. If you asked me at 11 o'clock how I was doing, I was another way. If you asked me at 1, I was another way. So it just was all over the place. I also teach at the Slade. So I was also teaching at the Slade and kind of talking to a lot of the students and encouraging digital community, encouraging everybody to sort of reach out to each other, because I think there was a sort of cutoff that alienated a lot of people, and I think it ended up becoming an exercise in sort of reaching out to folks and saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" Whether it's just like a quick phone call or a checkup. So that was sort of the first half, but on in terms of the creative side, there was a lot of projects that I had to cancel. Things with like Notting Hill Carnival had to be sort of reimagined in a different type of way. It definitely meant, I think one of the big lessons was sort of um, embracing the digital. I think we had been in a kind of digital revolution for quite some time. And I think many folks, especially in the art world, had kind of pushed that aside. And so it was a moment for me to sort of sit and think about what this impending digital revolution that we're in, very much like the industrial revolution, had changed work habits, um, collector habits, all sorts of stuff. So I had to really sit and give myself time to think about how do I embrace more the digital? And in fact, actually started reaching out to use. There's the computer program. I can't remember the department over at UCL, and reached out to them and sort of started asking them a lot of questions. And we ended up going on Microsoft Teams and doing a lot of talking meetings. But it really gave me a lot of sense of where the digital is going, and where I as an artist, how I need to sort of embrace that as part of my practice. I hope that answered the question. I kind of got in my head a bit.
No, that was a
Yeah,
great answer. Thank you so much.
it's lovely to hear that in a time where the arts community as a whole and the industries are kind of facing a little bit of setback after setback, it's lovely to hear that you have an idea of where you're going. It was really interesting to see sort of your attitude with art towards community, because you have your art is sort of visual art, but also I read a lot about sort of things you do at Nottingham Carnival, the food, fashion, live music and performance that you also get involved in as well. And I guess I wanted for you, why is it so important that you have this collaboration between the different mediums, as it were, of art? Because it's something that we're really interested in, Anna and I particularly, and it's something we'd love to do this year and encourage. And I guess I want to know your take on it.
That was part of the art community I grew up in, actually. I mean, I think, maybe the most famous story is the first big number one hip hop song ever to break out was Blondie. And when she starts rapping to Jean Michel Basquiat. So I always kind of knew or grew up in a space where I was very much intuitively aware of like how the different types of arts are all sort of intertwined and feed off of each other. And that really kind of what excited me and about art. And so I thought, while grad school gave me a great space to sort of just center in on painting, I always knew that art as a sort of idea always lived within a community. It never was isolated or separate. I think that that's sort of a weird false narrative that gets pushed out there. But I live in Shoreditch, and you know, years ago, before Shoreditch was Shoreditch, it was sort of filled with artists who just want to create cheap space. And so names that sort of become commonplace today, like Damien Hirst and Sarah Lucas and Alexander McQueen and so on, we're all just sort of hanging out, doing crazy things together. Peter Doig, partying and making art and just sort of kind of messing up. And I think that was always sort of my understanding of what art was. It was just a bunch of people partying together. So it just made sense to me that, and I'm to be honest, also I'm a huge fan of my friends. They're like, I have crushes on every one of them. They inspire me. I think I'm a better artist because I listen to them and I watch how they move. And so I'm very, very excited about working with them But that's what art has always been about. It's always been about like people partying together. It's never really been a single isolated individual genius sort of working away in their studio. That's a huge false narrative that has never really been true.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's all we've got time for at the minute. But thank you so much for joining, Alvaro, and wishing you the best of luck in the future. And stay safe and during COVID, please.
Same to everybody. All right.
Thank you
so much.
All right.
Oh wow, what a lovely guy.
I know, he's amazing.
Wonderful.
So I think we go on.
No,
Sam.
after you.
I was just going to say, I think we're now.
Oh dear, right. I was going to say I stick around because we've got some lovely we've got some more UCL alumni who have all got some very interesting things to tell us. So stick around for that. And we're going on to musical theatre now, aren't we, Anna?
We are going on to musical theatre now. We would like to extend a warm welcome to UCL's Musical Theatre Society. Musical theatre places inclusivity and the development of the individual at their core and welcome members with a passion for musical theatre, regardless as to their ability or experience. They offer a wide range of vibrant and exciting opportunities to help members develop their skills and create long-lasting friendships through different small and large-scale productions, galas, and other events. So whether you want to perform, direct, conduct, or design, musical theatre has something for you and would love to welcome you into their community. So today we've got a couple of performances from musical theatre, both quite different, both involving the lovely committee members from musical theatre. And so without further ado, I think we're introducing Kirsten Campbell-Ferguson, who is a second-year law student and one of this year's musical theatre social secretaries, performing a song from Anastasia.
Dancing bears, painted wings, things I almost remember, and a song someone sings once upon a December. Someone holds me safe and warm, horses prance through a silver storm, figures dancing gracefully across my memory. Far away, long ago, glowing dim as an ember, things my heart longs to know, things it yearns to remember. Вальс кружил и нес меня, словно в сказку свою маня. Первый бал и первый вальс звучат во мне сейчас. Зеркала в янтаре мой восторг отражают. Кто-то пел на заре, дом родной покидая.
I can't hear you, Sam.
I've done again. I'm gee whiz. Thank you, musical theatre, and thank you, Kirsten. That was absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know about you, Anna, but so lovely to hear some of it sung in Russian as well.
Yeah, it was stunning, and I love the visuals as well. I think musical theatre have been doing amazingly this term in terms of tech and really vibrant, dynamic performances that have been live streamed. The galas have been stunning. So big shout out to musical theatre on what has been an excellent term, and a big thank you to Kirsten. So next up, we have a pre-recorded interview for you all with a very exciting and interesting UCL alum. So we're pleased to introduce Karina Kwame, who got her PhD in Civil, Environmental and Geomatic Engineering from UCL in 2018. Described as a modern Renaissance woman for her wide-reaching work in STEM and in the arts, Karina is a vocalist and tap dancer with experience working in over 10 countries on diverse projects mobilizing the arts for social impact. Born in New Jersey to a Ghanaian and Irish family, Karina's inspiration in jazz is flavored with influences such as stride piano, West African highlife, Irish folk music, and soul. Today, we are really excited that we've got an interview for you all, so we hope you enjoy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karina Kwame. I'm a jazz musician and performer and work extensively in this social impact space. My passion is for sharing the legacy of jazz and what it can teach us for innovating in all different forms. In jazz, we often think about trust among musicians, common language that we have to play with folks from all over the world, and the magic of improvisation. In my practice, I am a tap dancer, I'm a singer, I have a band called Karina Kwame and the Swing Selection. And outside of the pandemic, we play in different parts of London and in different parts of the world. During the pandemic, we've been innovating around what jazz can teach innovators of all kinds. More to come on that. I also collaborate with musicians from all different genres, so whether it's jazz or samba, swing, rock and roll, and blues. I'm really interested in how the different forms from all over the globe have a common language. So you'll be seeing a bit of me in the slides in the features to come, but really excited for what we can do to celebrate the arts and what it can teach us about building a better world. Thank you. I don't know about you guys, this year has been an absolute whirlwind. And whilst I started off the pandemic definitely thinking I'm going to change all these things in my life, I'm going to make all these massive changes, looking back, actually the most important lesson I've learned is that there are these 1% shifts, and those are the things that over time really make the massive difference. When I first started tapping, I couldn't do this step, we call it a third. I think I would just sort of walk around clunking. But again, over years, and actually for this step in particular, it was almost a year just doing this exercise and getting my body to make that shift. So a few minutes every day over time actually meant I went from literally duck feet to being able to do some really cool stuff with that in mind. In my work life, it's the same. I just started a new role, and when I tell people about it, they're like, wow, that is such an amazing shift. I'm a creative producer at Purpose. I'm working on basically running an incubator for lots of participants who are tackling narratives around poverty. So the assumptions we have about how poverty functions. And again, that wasn't a massive shift overnight. That was many, many months and actually years of really honing what my voice is in this world of social impact. Hundreds of applications for many, many different roles, tons of interviews, and each time I had that 1% shift that has made all the difference. Similarly, work in progress and thinking about January 2021, my normal default would be to make these massive resolutions about how I'm going to change and how my schedule is going to be shifted. And I think we've all learned in the pandemic that there is actually not much we can predict, but actually how do we equip ourselves to be ready for those changes? So my hope and my gift for everyone is to really think about, what are the things you've already done that have brought these sort of 1% shifts daily and aggregating that for massive shift over time? And what kinds of shifts do we want to see in the future? Is it just being a bit kinder each day to somebody new? Is it reaching out to somebody who you haven't talked to or been in contact with? Or is it picking up, a cool new project? So that's my gift to you. 1% shifts, guys. Happy holidays. Speak to you soon.
I've unmuted myself, right?
Yeah.
Lovely. Haven't made the mistake again. Thank you so much, Karina Kwame, for sending that in. That was a really wonderful video, actually. I think it's so lovely to hear her speak so passionately about how art can teach. And not just in a sort of an academic way, but it's teaching collaboration and teach people about each other, I think is such a wonderful thing, and why it's so wonderful that we have so many students who are passionate about the arts and supporting the arts here at UCL, and hopefully going on to support the arts in greater life in general, whether it's your local theatre or your local dance school, whatever it is. It'd be wonderful to see how many people are passionate about the arts and supporting them.
Do you have any takeaways from your time with UCL Arts, Sam, that you would say have been great life lessons, or things that you feel you wouldn't have learned or found unless you joined the UCL Arts community? Probably a loaded question, sorry.
I think, if anything, my time at UCL and getting involved with the art societies has just shown me how much you can get done when you collaborate with people, and how much more you can get done when, instead of a bunch of people shouting over each other and saying what they think, just sitting back and listening and really paying attention, and as Alvaro was saying, bouncing off all these people that you're working with. I've seen so many amazing performances, productions, workshops, and been a part of them myself during my time at UCL. And the best have always been because the people who I've been working with have been wonderful and just bounce off each other. What about you, Anna?
I think similar. I think because before UCL, I was either a visual artist or I would sing, and I'd maybe do a little bit of something stagey, but I wasn't ever looking to kind of collaborate with people who are kind of outside of my kind of very small circles. And I think, similar to you, it's been a really amazing opportunity to kind of speak with people and work with people who come from very different parts of the art world and creating very different types of art. And and I think, like Karina mentioned in a lot of her research, is kind of implementing creative strategies to stem problems and finding solutions for like bigger problems and social problems. And I think there is definitely so much to be said for creative thinking and the way that people work together that informs a lot of what we do more widely. So yeah, I agree. I think the collaborative element of UCL Arts is kind of been the thing I'm most excited by and grateful for. Yeah.
I also love her little bit about the 1% shifts. I feel like in a time
Yeah.
where lockdown has been incredibly difficult, and the period after lockdown now and going into the winter break, that 1% shifting is definitely something I'm going to try and implement myself. So Karina Kwame, you may have just saved my dissertation. So thank you, hopefully in advance. Just to say also that Alvaro and Karina are, whilst we've had very limited time with them, they are such wonderful people, and they've got some really interesting work and research going on. So please go, and if you are interested, go and search them online. You absolutely will not regret it. And speaking of interesting UCL Arts alumni, we now move on to Tim Rice-Oxley, who graduated with a BA in Classics in 1998, is an English musician, producer, singer, and multi-instrumentalist, best known for being the keyboardist, singer, and songwriter of my favourite Sing in the Shower artist, the British pop and rock band Keen. I've just outed myself.
My name's Tim Rice-Oxley. I studied classics at UCL from 1995 until 1998, and I'm now the songwriter in the band Keen. When I was at UCL, I used to write songs in my room when I was in halls, and I used to sneak into the practice rooms on Huntley Street, and then I'd usually get booted out by someone who'd actually booked the room, which I never worked out how to do. One of my few kind of musical contributions while I was actually at UCL was I wrote and performed some music in the classics play at the Bloomsbury Theatre, which was a pretty cool thing to be able to do, and was probably my first experience of live performance. My advice, if you're studying the arts at UCL at the moment, would be to realise the value of having 3 or 4 years set aside where you can just study, and also not to get too stressed about the end game, but to relish the process and to soak up all those experiences and start to form your own ideas about people and art and life and ideas, and carry that forward with you into the world.
Thank you so much from Tim Rice-Oxley. I'm definitely going to leave this whole showcase with my claim to fame that I've been kicked out of the same practice rooms that the guy from Keen did as well, because I had to. And speaking of, Tim's mentioned getting to write the music for the classics play. The classics play is happening at some, I think it's early 2021, but they've got social media, they've got Facebook and Instagram. I think Instagram, they definitely have Facebook. So if you're interested in seeing that when it comes out and seeing, I know that The Odyssey, that's it, thank you, Diego. And and there has been some original music written for that production as well. So check that out if you are interested.
Yeah, and it's probably a great moment to just speak to the Bloomsbury season, which will be happening next term. So as I'm sure everyone watching knows, we usually have a Bloomsbury season that runs much more throughout the year, whereas this year it's going to be term 2 and term 3. And all of our societies have been working so hard to ensure that their productions are COVID safe and to adhere to all of the guidelines as and when they are updated, which they have been updated tirelessly. And Sam and I have been in some really interesting meetings with the production teams who have incredible creative vision and are going to put on some really amazing performances. So I'm sure that there will hopefully be some in-person opportunities to go and watch the shows in the theatre, but they will also be streamed. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for ticket information from those different societies for next time.
Yeah, I was just say it's been an absolute pleasure for me and Anna to be able to be in these rooms, in these meetings, and to work with people within the union, but also the students in these production teams who have taken on a huge, ambitious task. And I'm sure you agree, given that we've both directed shows and been involved in productions of this scale before. It's no easy task in the best of times, but just the resilience and the creativity that we've seen from students who, for some of whom this is their first time being a producer or director or an MD for any kind of show, let alone one in a 550 capacity off West End theatre like the Bloomsbury. So well done to everyone who's worked on them, and keep up the creativity. We're very proud of you, and we're very proud to represent you. Speaking of productions, we're now going to go on to another pre-recorded interview with the one and only Lizzie B, who is a West End, soon to be West End debut making in Hairspray. I still have tickets for when it gets rescheduled. I hope soon. And also ex UCL Musical Theatre Society president.
Hey mom, dead mom, I need a little help here. I'm probably talking to myself here, but dead mom, I gotta ask, are you really in the ground? 'Cause I feel you all around me. Are you here, dead mom, dead mom?
Hi everyone, my name is Lizzie B and I am a professional actor. I studied at UCL. I graduated in 2015 and I studied BA Ancient History and Egyptology. So yeah, it's quite funny going into something completely different, but I absolutely loved my time at UCL and I'm really honoured to be able to be a part of this alumni event. So I'd kind of performed my entire life, started doing Andram when I was about 8 and just absolutely loved it. Hilariously, when I got to UCL, I was actually going to give up performing, but then got persuaded to audition for some stuff with the UCLU Musical Theatre Society, and the rest was history, basically. I did shows with that society throughout my whole 3 years at UCL, did loads of really special shows that I probably never would have done anywhere else. I performed in what used to be the Garage Theatre, which was a entirely student-run theatre, and also did the bigger shows in the Bloomsbury and just absolutely loved it. I think that it was a really incredible experience to be able to do theatre that was entirely student-led. It meant that everyone had to be fully creative, fully passionate about it, because if we weren't, then there wasn't going to be any way of doing it, you know. Yeah, and then in my second year, no, the summer of my first year, I auditioned for something called National Youth Music Theatre, and did a show with them, and that's how I got my agent, and then started performing. So it's been a really kind of incredible 5 years since graduating. Next year I'm going to be doing Hairspray in the West End, playing Tracy Turnblad, which still feels really crazy to say. It's an absolute dream role, and I'm just, yeah, extremely grateful that my career is taking me to these places. It's yeah, definitely feel really lucky. This year's obviously been a bit crazy in terms of my industry, but having the knowledge that I'm going to be doing Hairspray whilst going through this has been really incredible. And I've lived with my boyfriend throughout all of this, who is also a performer, so it's been nice to kind of have a bit of solidarity there and be able to go through this crazy year together. I've been really lucky that I've kind of done a few concerts and kept myself busy, you know, kept singing, which has been lovely. I just think the arts at the moment is so important, and a lot of people don't realise how big a part of their life it is. You know, every time you turn on the telly or you watch Netflix or you listen to music, it's performers that are providing this stuff. And you know, a lot of the time there isn't a lot of help for us, but it's also the most incredible place to be in terms of the solidarity and the teamwork and knowing that you're not going through these things alone. So I always feel forever grateful to be part of such an incredible industry, and my time at UCL was certainly a massive part of why I now get to do this as a job. So yeah, very grateful, thrilled to be able to be a part of this event, and I hope the rest of it is amazing. Thanks for having me. Bye.
You're my home, my destination, and I'm your
Thank you very much, Lizzie B. That was so wonderful to hear from you, and I really hope I get to see you in Hairspray soon. I just wanted to add, it was so lovely to hear about Lizzie talking about the importance of the arts, specifically over a lockdown period where I can certainly say most of what I've done, listening to music, consuming media and stuff that has been performed by artists and has been supplied by them. So it really is sort of hammering home at this point how important arts are and the people who make the industry go round. And
Sam, did you want to show us? Did you want to show us your T-shirt? I feel like it's relevant.
Oh, okay. I'm wearing an I Am Viable T-shirt. It was started by I work in the theatre as an usher, part-time. That's how I've got through uni. And someone I worked with started making these to raise money for the money for theatres when COVID hit and when people were not able to get as much income because they were individual workers. So yeah, they're pretty cool. They make a wonderful Christmas gift for those of you who love the arts and want to support. Thank you for doing that, Anna. That's horrible. And we're now going to move on to Lizzie B's Old Society.
I just feel like it's super apt because, like Lizzie was talking about, theatres have kind of been, well, the whole industry, but theatres have been through the works, and we've all seen in the past couple of days that shows were literally just reopening for Christmas and they've all had to close again. So it's really nice to hear from someone in the industry who's so upbeat and positive and excited about the future. And I'm excited for her and wish her all the best with Hairspray. But yes, to go back to Musical Theatre Society, we have another performance from the wonderful committee. Maybe some of them will be in Hairspray in the future, who knows, but they will be performing, well, I'm not going to give it away, I'll just let Diego roll the video.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air.
Girls, we've crashed.
Okay, what the hell? What just happened? Gretchen, I swear to God, if your Wi-Fi has gone down.
Yeah, I was screen sharing the music. One sec. I'll get it back.
I think we should just keep going, you know?
Oh no.
What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away.
Jingle bell time is a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the block. Mix and mingle in a jingling feet. That's the Jingle Bell Rock. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime in Jingle Bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air. What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. jingle around the clock. Mix and a mingle in a jingling beat. That's a jingle bell, that's a jingle bell, that's the Jingle Bell Rock.
Well, that was something.
Wow. Thank you, Musical Theatre Society.
Always going the extra mile when it comes to editing. Big shout out to whoever in musical theatre edited that video. Very clever. And I believe we are going to hear from our last UCL Arts alumnus, Andrew McMillan, who did his MA in English Language and Literature in 2013 at UCL. His first is a poet. I should mention that. I should actually say who Andrew is. His first collection, Physical, was the first poetry collection to win the Guardian First Book Award, and is now a senior lecturer at Manchester Writing School at MMU. So we should. Hello.
Hi, Andrew.
I don't know if I can follow that. What we just witnessed. I think I can only be a letdown after that.
It was quite something.
We put you after this because we knew you could definitely follow it.
Oh, very sweet.
How are you
doing?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, just finishing up some last bits of work for the term and catching up on admin and things like that. Just having a dull day, really, as it rains here in Manchester as well.
If it makes you feel any better, it's raining down here in London too. So
that makes me feel a lot better. It does.
I first wanted to ask you about poetry. How did you get into poetry as an art form?
I mean, almost accidentally, really. I mean, one of the great kind of unkept secrets, I guess, about me is that my dad's also a poet. And so what that means is that I grew up in a house of poetry. I grew up surrounded by contemporary poetry, and therefore just knew it was a thing. I just kind of knew that it was a thing that some people did in real life. And I think that's a really important thing, because I think a lot of people wanting to get into any kind of art, they just can't see it as a kind of tangible way of life. And my dad worked for a long time as a freelance writer doing kind of residencies and things like that. So I saw it as a kind of physical, tangible thing that could be done. But I always wanted to be a politician. I'd watched The West Wing and thought I might be a speechwriter, or thought that I could just run down corridors very quickly, talk to people in an elegant way as they do in The West Wing. But then I did some work experience at the House of Commons for one of the people who ended up in prison during the expenses scandal, and just found it very dull, and just it's not as glamorous as The West Wing maybe makes it seem. And so when I left university and while I was doing the MA at UCL, I just started trying to various little freelance writing projects, so doing a bit of community teaching and things like that. And then it really just grew from there.
And COVID, there's a little bit of a theme of COVID has been a very unprecedented time for everyone, specifically people in the arts. Where were you for COVID, and how did it affect you and your writing?
So I've been really lucky. But yeah, I mean, I've been lucky in that I lecture, and so that's continued. So that's my kind of day job, as it were. So I've been really fortunate that I've been able to do that from home, mostly in terms of teaching, sitting here in my study at home. But obviously, kind of a lot of the readings and a lot of kind of gigs dried up. Although what did happen is a lot of that shifted online, which I think in the long term is good for accessibility and good for a broader range of people being able to access things. A big thing that I often talk about is the fact that, obviously a lot of stuff happens in London, whereas there's an entire kind of swathe of people who don't live in London, and they've been able to access things I think they wouldn't be able to access in the past because of streaming things. So I think the future probably is a little bit of both. It's probably a bit of streaming and a bit of kind of live stuff, hopefully fused together. In terms of my writing, it's made my concentration really bad. I'm sure that's been a theme as well. So I've just not been able to concentrate much on reading very much, aside from what I have to read for work, or writing very much. I just obsessively scroll the Guardian live blog and look at the latest news. That's all I do now.
Sam and I are obviously students, and we've been doing all our Zoom lectures, all our Microsoft Team lectures. And I just wondered, how do you think, as a creative and a teacher, how has COVID affected your teaching style or the way you're kind of working with students? Because I know that I've found Teams and Zoom lectures to be quite daunting. They're kind of now more kind of part of my daily experience. But at first, in particular, it was really difficult. But I've gradually got to grips with it. So I was wondering, as a creative and as a teacher, how you've experienced it.
I think we've done the best that we can in the situation. I think we also here at MMU have kept a little bit of face-to-face teaching. So we've been doing 3 hours a week of kind of face-to-face, which feels really important, just I think for everyone's well-being, just to be in a room with other people at a safe distance and to be able to talk about writing. A lot of creative writing that I teach is based around the workshop. And I think that what I miss, and we've done that in person, can't face each other. We have to all the students have to sit in rows facing the front. I have to be kind of quite far back in order just to make it safe. And so what I miss is that kind of communal element of just all gathered around a small table kind of talking about things. But I do think that a lot of the innovation that's been forced very quickly onto higher ed was probably coming anyway. Like, it seems to me a very old-fashioned thing that we would make 100 people sit in a room and be talked at for an hour, when they might sit in their own bed when they're hungover and listen to a podcast where they get that information. Or what I have noticed is that in my dissertation, students have to do presentations, and they're much more willing to do those online than they were in, because somehow they weren't as nervous, they weren't as scared to do that. There was something nice about that in person. And so I think what it's forced and what it will continue to force is innovations in the way that we use classroom time, in the way that we use non-classroom contact time, how can we best give you the information that you need, but make the use of the classroom time that it feels like a kind of co-produced learning space. And so I think hopefully, as with everything that's happened in the last year, some of those innovations will hopefully stay. But what I look forward to most is just being able to sit in a classroom with people again and just talk about ideas, talk about books, because that's the whole at university. That was the whole point of me doing the MA as well. I mean, when I did the MA issues in modern culture, I was living up here, so I was commuting down once a week, every Friday. But it was just that. It was just being sat in a room for a couple, talking about that week's idea. And I think that community that you get face to face is something that we have missed this year, but hopefully will come back quite soon.
It's lovely to hear you speak about community. That's something that pretty much everyone we've spoken to has brought up, and it's something that we've been speaking a lot about at UCL, just because of the fact that we haven't been able to get that. I guess why for you is that community not just necessarily between sort of people within the same discipline, but with different artistic communities coming together and communities and working together in collaboration?
I think that's just where exciting stuff happens. That's where, we all feed off each other. We've got at MMU a kind of great new arts and humanities building, so all the drama students are always hanging about. We've got a poetry library that will be opening next month, hopefully. And so it's because if we've got a script writer who's working on a script, they can go and grab a couple of the drama actors and say, well, you just read this and see how it feels. Or we can bring the drama students into a script writing class. We can kind of have a gallery space where we can display some of the maybe physical poetry, kind of concrete work that some of the students are doing. What's happened in art in the last sort of 5-10 years is that these boundaries that we thought were very fixed between a novel and between a film and a ballet, or between any of that stuff, it's all breaking down, and it's all becoming much more. And I think that the more that we collaborate across art forms, that's just where exciting work is made, and that's where we as tutors continually learn. You know, you said I graduated in Lord 2013 or 2014, like 7 years ago, like a long time ago. And so I'm of a very different generation now. When I first started teaching, I could pretend that I was just about the same age as the people that I was teaching, and that's no longer the case. I'm now very much of a different generation. But that new generation that comes forward shows us again new ways of making art, new disciplines. You know, for me and my generation, there was this Instagram poetry was a kind of really new thing, and it was exciting, and that was maybe a new frontier. And now to me it's TikTok, and that everyone actually is a video editor, and everyone actually can make short form comedic videos. And that's really interesting because that teaches comic timing, that teaches visual literacy, that teaches kind of brevity of message. And so every new generation has a new, I don't really pretend to know what TikTok is because I don't understand it, but every new generation has a new kind of artistic space into which they step. And then we learn from that as tutors as well, I think.
Wow, thank you so much. Anna, any more questions?
I guess my final question would be like looking forward to 2021 to hopefully a better COVID situation, and particularly for Manchester. I empathise. I'm from Manchester, and it's been terrible in Manchester for a long time. Is there anything that you're looking forward to, or that you want to kind of speak about, or something that you think you're going to take into 2021 that you've learned from such a kind of challenging year?
I've got a new book coming out next May, so hopefully at some point I'll be back with that when we can do physical events. But I think more than that, it's just, you know, learning to slow down if we've got the kind of privilege and the space to do that. I was always somebody who was on trains. I was always kind of galloping up and down the country, coming to UCL to do events or doing events in various places, and always in London a few times a month doing things. And to not have to travel anywhere, to just sit at home and be at home at weekends and things like that has been really nice. And I think just to reassess what's important to us, you know, reassess whether we are too busy to go and see our family that weekend because we'd rather be doing something else. But having not had that chance for almost a year now, you know, just appreciating those smaller things, I think. And hopefully to God going on holiday at some point and just laying on a beach and doing nothing, drinking alcohol. I don't care what it is, just alcohol. That's as generic as it has to be.
I'll toast you to that. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrew. It's been absolutely lovely speaking to you. Wishing you the best for the rest of 2020 and the best 2021.
Bye-bye.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Again, extraordinary person. Thank you so much for Andrew McMillan. He mentioned that he's got his new collection coming out, but you can get his other collections, Physical and Playtime, which are already out. I've been out for a while. The reviews are very good. I read them just before we were researching this. And now for the last society that we're going to see, UCL's Live Music Society, which Anna and I both know very, very well. Wonderful place to enjoy music, perform, or help bring about unforgettable music-based events at UCL. They were UCL's Art Society of the Year 2019 to 2020, and pride themselves on being a vibrant and diverse community, providing a great platform for anyone who wants to get involved with music as a performer, technician, or just a listener. So let's take it away with live music.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents, only the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. For Christmas is you. Want a lot for Christmas? There is just one thing I need. Don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I don't need to hang my stocking there upon the fireplace. Santa Claus will make me happy with the toy on Christmas Day. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. You, baby. Oh, I won't ask much this Christmas. I won't even wish for snow. I'm just gonna keep on waiting underneath the mistletoe. I will make a list and send it to the North Pole for St. Nick. I won't even say a wait to hear those magic reindeer click. 'Cause I just want you here tonight, holding on to me so tight. What more can I do, baby? All I want for Christmas is you. Ooh, baby. Oh, the lights are shining so brightly everywhere, and the sound of children's laughter fills the air, and everyone is singing. I hear those sleigh bells ringing. Santa, won't you bring me the one I really need? Won't you please bring my baby to me? Oh, I don't want a lot for Christmas. This is all I'm asking for. I just wanna see my baby standing right outside my door. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true, baby. All I want for Christmas is you. You, baby. All I want for Christmas is you, baby. All I want is you, baby.
Thank you very much, Live Music Society. Another incredibly well put together video. For people who haven't done that sort of thing before, it's really not that easy. So well done, Live Music, for getting such a wonderful video put together.
You were also great in it, Sam, but I am grateful that you've grown a beard again, because the moustache is quite jarring.
Yeah, I forgot that when we were recording it was still November. It was going to come back and haunt me. But hey, things we do. So we've got one more video coming up for you, which is going to be from our wonderful Jazz Society again. But before then, Anna and I just want to quickly talk about the Christmas events that are going to be, winter events that are going to be happening over the winter break. Keep an eye out on the Union website and keep following your society's social medias. They will be doing things over the winter break to put a little bit of a spring in your step. And then when we return to term 2, we'll hopefully have some more things, some very exciting things to go with.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have loads more in-person events next term. Fingers crossed the situation gets better rather than worse, so we can actually all perform together in person again. But until then, there'll be so many online events that you can get involved with and ways to stay connected to your arts community.
And if you've got any ideas for good events, do get in contact with us or get in contact with the people in your societies. It really is a matter of just people, as Alvaro said, people partying together and bouncing off each other. And now the last thing we've got jazz. A wonderful way to end, and then we'll be announcing who has won the wonderful Winter Boutique. That was absolutely fabulous. What a way to end. Police car, sorry, being very rude. Well, a way to end the Winter Arts Showcase 2020. Anna and I have had an absolute blast, haven't we?
We have indeed. We have indeed. And we're really excited to announce the winners of our competition that has been running throughout the showcase this afternoon. So our first winner today is Jim Onyumanum, our wonderful postgraduate officer, whose favourite arts moment, as we said earlier, was the Cheese Graters skits at the Digital Welcome Fair. So congrats, Jim.
And our second winner of the day is Clara McDade, whose favourite arts moment of this term has been putting on a musical with Musical Theatre Society completely virtually on Zoom, which sounds like an absolute task. So well done, Clara, you have won.
Well done, Clara.
And we will get in contact with you, and we will figure out how to get your wonderful winter booty prizes to you. But on that note, it's been absolutely wonderful being with you guys here on this dreary Wednesday afternoon in both London and Manchester. Oh, we get a little bar at the bottom. I've been Sam.
I've been Anna.
And thank you for tuning in with us. We hope everyone has a wonderful winter break, and we can't wait to see you all virtually or, fingers crossed, in person when we come back in term 2.
Yeah, stay safe and well, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in and for all of your hard work this term. We're so excited by this community and can't wait to see what we get up to in term 2.
Massive thank you to the wonderful people at the union who have helped with this event, and because we haven't done it ourselves, and massive props to Filmstock Diego again. Diego, we are going to call you by name. You've been absolutely wonderful when you also did the Society Showcase. So big props to everyone. Have a lovely winter break, and thank you for tuning in.